What's going on, everybody? You are now here for the inaugural episode of CxW, the comic and wrestling collab, the greatest collaboration since Matt Hardy and the Seven Deities got together and created the deletion storm across the world. I'm your boy, Jeff J. You already know that, Nonstop Culture community. This is something I've wanted to put together for a real long time. Two of my biggest passions, comic and wrestling, all talked about in one spot. And I got some of the greatest minds that can speak to the wrestling and comic culture that you've seen on Twitter, you've seen on social media talk about it. Some of the best insight that I've had watching and following along, and some good people that I know. So I'm going to introduce you to them. First off, we got my guy Chris Mack, writer extraordinaire, a.k.a. the Black David Meltzer, a.k.a. Mr. Mac Main. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, man? How you doing, Jeff? What's going on, everybody?
You know what it is, man. I got to give you one of the black men colloquialisms of just trying to make $1 after 15 cents, just trying to stay alive. Just trying to see another day. You know what I mean? I gotta hit you with all of the grown black man sayings when you just try to make small talk. But yeah, everything is good, man.
Another $1, man.
Right. Another day, another $1. That's a classic one. But glad to have you on. Next, I got Bree, the pop culture fiend and kayfabe queen who loves music, sports, and everything in between. You know you did too much with this, right?
Well, I just had to introduce myself properly. So that's just how I came in.
I know.
Hey guys, what's up? How are you doing?
Good. I'm glad to have you on. You know, I can't be on this podcast with all these dudes. You know, I get nervous at times. There's too much testosterone around. So I'm glad you can give. You can extol the virtues of Finn Balor's aesthetics as you constantly do, along with all your technical knowledge. Yo, every time Finn comes on, my timeline goes nuts. I'm like, damn, this ain't Ringo, is it? You know what I mean? But no, I'm really glad to have you on. This is gonna be fun. Then I got my man Marcus Flowers, the man with one of the best regular names to have an ill pen name, M-Flow CO, Colorado's finest. Marcus, what's good?
Yo, what's good, man? Just glad to be here.
And, you know, Marcus, like me, C-Mac too, I know Marie as well, we do a lot with the comics, do a lot with the wrestling, a lot more. As I said before, it's going to be, you think about it, come for the wrestling, stay for the comics, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about some news in the wrestling and the comics world, and then get to the main event. So, y'all ready to start?
Oh, yeah,
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, man.
And if y'all hear some fabulous beats in the background, that's C-Mac's progeny, his nephew going nuts. We got the future Ryan Leslie playing 15,000 instruments, Prince in his prime going on. So in 20 years...
He's making a whole album right now.
Yo, if you hear somebody scream if vocals came in yet, you already know what it is. Oh man! All right, so let's get to the news. First off, y'all Uncle Ric Flair, I think he set a record for quickest exit from a bar. He got kicked out in 5 minutes at a bar. Saw the news, saw it on TMZ, a bunch of other places. Wow. Apparently, he came in and started heating up the bartender, and they wanted him out of there. They didn't care who he was. Are we really surprised at this? Bree, what do you think?
I'm not surprised at all. It's just Uncle Rick being Uncle Rick, basically. Like, apparently he went in and harassed the bartender, and the bartender was kind of trying to give it back to him. Mm-hmm. But then he was just like, oh, stop being a fat ass or something like that. It's just like, that's just Uncle Rick.
Yo, Chris, you want to know what's funny about that? That is his character. Like, he went in as the nature boy. Yeah. Like, you know how he always used to call people fat boy in the States? And he did it to the bartender and got kicked out.
I feel like this is around this time, especially in April, it's just like the worst time for Rick. Because he's
post WrestleMania.
Really, he's always emotional. This is the anniversary of his son's death. Reed passed away earlier this month, and he always really it's just a hard time to actually have him in his senses. I mean, normally this is how he is, but this is like around this time and around August is like the worst times for Rick emotionally. and I probably was just probably was already drunk going into the bar,
right?
And being belligerent, and these type of stories always happen with him every time, and nothing happens, he barely even gets to stop on the rest. He just try to take him home and call the Uber and let him sleep the night away. I mean, he reminds me more so of my grandfather. Because he's the exact same way when it comes to stuff like that. You just gotta sleep it off. But it's I mean, I can't say if it's even alarming at this point, because it's what to be expected. But it's very hard to see. At this age. But
yeah,
what it is.
It's hard. It's hard. Everybody reacts different when you lose somebody in your family, or you lose a loved one, family or friend, or anybody who you cared about, and that's crazy. It's wild because I do remember that I remember when he passed, and yeah, it is around that time. So it does make sense that around this time he would be a little bit less available in his faculties. You know what I mean? So I do take it lightly, but I just feel like it's Ric Flair. Like at this point, Ric Flair is Ric Flair. Is Ric Flair. He reminds me. You've seen the Lonzo Ball gif when he walks in First Take and when LeVar Ball walks in the First Take and Lonzo's walking by. That's like Charlotte and Ric Flair at every interview that they did together. When Rick comes in, Nature Boy, Charlotte's just like, Dad. Yo, Marcus, what's the quickest you ever got kicked out of a bar?
Man, I'd say about an hour.
What happened?
It was a Nuggets game. I forgot who was playing. Nuggets aren't that good. Got a little belligerent. Didn't make it to halftime. So
was Hennessy involved? Yes, I'm profiling.
Nah. It was Jameson.
Because
Tennessee in Colorado.
Dog.
Hey,
I'm surprised y'all not more mellow.
Come on, man.
Come on. Anything is possible. Come on, y'all.
Yeah. J.R. Smith was with the Nuggets, man.
He was.
J.R. said he never smoked. Not that, but he never drank Hennessy. He said he doesn't drink it. On Twitter, somebody had made a Hennessy joke, and he was like, it's funny, I never drank it. I can't say, though, I have seen JR in the club, and I've never seen him with Hennessy in the club. Like, I've never seen him with Hennessy in the club. Because, you get them contracts, you got to up the liquor quality. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you're an NBA player, you're getting the Hennessy for your boys at this point. Unless that's just what you like.
Yeah, he got Alizé and Rosé now, he's doing the big bottles
Alizé?
At this point,
Yo, hold on. Let me pitch myself. Is this 2003? What you talking about? Yo, you broke out of... if you would have said Hypnotic, I would have cut off the podcast like right now.
I was getting close. Yo,
that's the throwback right there.
I'm broke as hell, man. So I just stick with just regular ass Hennessy and Brown.
Oh, house liquor works. House liquor works. Depending on the situation, you don't gotta be bougie. Just give me what y'all drink. You know what I mean? So next, that's what's in the news. Awesome Kong. It's crazy. I didn't even hear about this until I was just doing research. But they're doing a Netflix series on Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. It's premiering June 23rd. The first pictures came out, and one reason why this is dope to me is when I was a kid, I remember Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Like it was on random times, and the promotion was just all women, and that just blew my mind. Because for those who are old enough to remember, back in WCW days, it was WCW Saturday morning. Especially if you were in the South, you know that TBS, TNT, WCW every Saturday morning. You watch to see what stupidness Sting was gonna do with the Horsemen. Always getting duped by them, or somehow Sting is getting swindled on Saturday mornings. And Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling will come out, and some great female wrestlers came out of that to go on to the other promotions. But it was like its own thing. And with WWE coming out with the women's tournament, that's like perfect timing for them to be dropping this. Do y'all remember Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling at all? Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I have
heard of it. Yeah.
It was like the equivalent.
It used to come on like on UPN or like Fox or like early in the morning. It'd be like 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
WB.
And I'm finished watching in like I'm finished watching like WWF Shotgun or something like that. And that comes on like
Shotgun Saturday night.
yeah, Shotgun Saturday night or
wow.
Jack or something like that. And, and then Glow comes on like a couple hours later. And I think I remember one of the characters. He was actually a male character on there. He was known as Big Smoke or the Smoke. Like he was like a parody of The Rock. And that was like one of the most memorable times I started watching that show. But yeah, Mickey James is part of Glow. That's how I remember watching her there.
Right. You
know,
VA Zone.
Alexis. Yeah,
VA Zone.
That's right. That's right.
For sure. Yeah, man. It's so crazy because it was that, and then in the mid to late 90s, 2 a.m. on Saturday, you on deck for ECW.
Oh yeah.
Because, as a kid, I couldn't go out nowhere. There was no clubbing until I got older. But, yeah, I used to DVR it, tape it, whatever have you. But the 2 a.m. Saturday morning ECW was so lit because it was so different from everything else on. I stayed up to see Sabu, decimate himself and everybody else and go through tables, and the Sandman take 20 minutes to get to the ring drinking beer. Like, it's wild. But that... Glow comes out. When does it come out? June 23rd, I want to say. Yeah, June 23rd. I'm interested to see it. If you got Netflix or other methods of seeing Netflix shows, I would recommend, if you're a wrestling fan, to check it out. I'm intrigued, like Poppy would say. I'm very, very intrigued.
And also, just to kind of go back on that, one of our favorites, or one of my favorites, Awesome Kong / Karma, is actually in the series too, so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing her act in this show.
Yeah, they say that she's playing a character that's not like what she was in TNA, so we'll see. I saw the first pictures. It looks wild retro, which is so cool to me. Dope. It looks wild retro, so I'm hyped for it. I can't wait to see that. So one major story that came out was this ongoing situation with Mauro Ranallo and JBL. So quick backstory for those who need to get caught up. If you notice, Mauro's not been on WWE programming since March 7th. He missed WrestleMania. He removed WWE from his Twitter. If you follow him or you see him on Twitter, he's Retweet City, always talking about everything that he's doing. But he removed all of that stuff from his Twitter handle. He's deleted WWE-related tweets, and he went silent for a while. And the reason that's being speculated, it was on Dave Meltzer's show, the white Dave Meltzer as opposed to Chris Mack. the white Dave Meltzer. So Ronaldo's been the OG Dave Meltzer. Ronaldo's been the target of perpetual bullying by JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, because he took umbrage with the fact that Ranallo won that internet comment contest for best wrestling announcer. And JBL trolled him on Bring It to the Table. And shortly after that, because we had that snowstorm up in the Northeast, and they said that he had missed it because of that. Then shortly thereafter, he was gone. You didn't hear from him, and it's like, okay, what the hell is going on? They didn't even make mention of him. Then he doesn't make WrestleMania. That was the first red flag for me. If I'm sick, if I got stomach poisoning, I don't got a foot, you know what I mean? Like creditors at my door, I'm making WrestleMania. One way or another, I'm going to be there. So for him not to be there, that was the first red flag. So it's been a lot of stuff that's been trickling out since then. For those who may not know all the stories of JBL and the bullying going on, there's stories on stories on stories. Blue Meanie.
Oh, yeah.
I still remember that at One Night Stand when he actually was beating Blue Meanie down and busted him wide open. Joey Styles had to knock him out. Rene Dupree. He was trolling Chris Kanyon years before he took his own life. Like, there's so many stories out there to the point that JBL's on Twitter blocking anyone who supports Ranallo, blocking anyone who says anything to him, blocking anyone who follows both of them, JBL and Mauro. And Mauro's been
kicking
like
people out of arenas. Kicking people
oh,
out
you
of
saw
arenas,
that too, right?
Yeah.
The dude that had the JBL bullied me sign on Raw got kicked out. So it's like a whole thing, and it's getting hot. It's getting hot for him right now.
Because
what do you think about it?
There's a lot
Chris?
there's a lot of stories out, man. Like a lot of major publications are writing about this. It's just looking like a big black cloud on WWE's part. But I mean, in Bradshaw's case, I mean, he should have been gone a long time ago.
Absolutely.
He's an awful commentator, for one, but he's always been Vince's voice, on commentary. Like that's just like sheriff,
right?
The big man on campus, like the bodyguard that just runs through everybody and beats him down for Vince's humor. Like he's entertained by it. He's the one that's really entertained by all of this, and Bradshaw's just a cog in the machine. Mm-hmm. However, he needs to go. And the first red flag actually with the Mauro case when wasn't there the second week, and they didn't make mention of him. Something was up, and at that point I figured with Ranallo he has a lot of issues. He suffers from a bipolar disorder. He's and mental illness. It's a big issue. Not only within just society. Also within the black community as well. For him, I felt when he got signed there a few months back, it was going to be some problems. I just didn't know how severe it was going to be, and for JBL to start blocking all these people that are even showing like
he's making it too hot. He's making it too hot.
Right.
Yeah. Support just to say, hey, tomorrow or Adam say, get well soon.
Right.
It makes him look very, very guilty in the light. You know what I mean? That that he is doing all this, and and all the stories that came out from other wrestlers that worked with him in the past, John Morrison, John Cena, Edge, and Steve Blackman had to beat the crap out of him and almost killed him because of his ribbing. It's just a big issue, and eventually they're going to have to use him as a scapegoat and get rid of him.
Right.
Yeah.
So Bree,
it's going to go so far before it becomes too late.
Right. Bree, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to get rid of him, or do you think it's going to be business as usual?
I think they have to, because I hate to kind of compare it, but similar to the Bill DeMott situation, a lot of people kept saying, oh, that's just wrestling. Oh, that's just the business. But eventually the business evolves. So along with that hazing and ribbing, that kind of has to phase out too. So I think JBL is eventually going to have to go because, it can't be tolerated anymore. You're dealing with someone who has a diagnosed mental health issue, and you've obviously pushed them past boundaries that they're uncomfortable with. So he's got to go.
Marcus, what's the wildest story that you heard from the JBL bullying saga?
It was the Justin Matthews. I'm gonna say his name right. Justin Roberts. When he was like, the whole passport situation, when somebody took his passport and he had to go to the embassy, then he had to go back to London. Then he had to fly to like Austin, and then he was still like 20 miles away from where he had to be. And that's just like, that's not even like ribbing anymore. That's just like being an asshole. Like that, you guys are overseas. That's pretty messed up. Like that's his well-being. And it's shocking how silent WWE has been over this. It's actually quite like appalling just seeing how just like dead quiet they've been over this compared to like situations in the past with like CM Punk. So it's just it's interesting that I feel like the longer WWE waits, the worse it's gonna get. And JBL was messed up for hating on Mauro in the first place, because it's like why? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just when wrestlers interact online, it always seem like, yeah, they joke a lot, but they also at the end of the day, they like support each other. Right. So for JBL to like throw shade at him like that was it's pretty cold blooded. But yeah, JBL has to go.
This is what I think. Well, first of all, that story that Edge told about him getting soaped in the shower, which I'm thinking is he put a soap in like a pantyhose and something was like hitting him. Like that's some shit. Like that's some you got to put him out of action. Like Joey Styles knocked him out. I don't know in what world that you bully Steve Blackman. This dude looks like Channel 11 karate movie prototype that can actually beat your ass. Like I would never in my life. Like it would be one of those, yo, come on, man. You know I'm just playing. Yo, you know I got to do this. Like I bitch up so quick for Steve Blackman. Like it's not even funny. But just what you guys are saying in terms of they have to act. I don't know who advises WWE or their PR, but for one, it looks pretty bad when you do a Be a Star campaign, anti-bullying, and they allow this type of stuff to happen. That's first. Secondly, I get it. JBL's a heel. He's a heel, and he's one of those old school heels that try to leave it throughout and not try to blur any lines. But for me, when I saw him talking about it on Bring It to the Table, because he was trolling Rosenberg too, and I was like, all right, JBL's just being JBL. But to me, if you're my coworker and I troll you as part of like I'm being a heel, and you have bipolar disorder, or if you have some type of mental disorder, and I know it, and maybe this is just me, and then maybe it's also me, and even for the rest of us, y'all could feel me. All of us are black, so we kind of take a lot of stuff into account because that type of stuff happens to us, so we don't want to reciprocate it. So I would be the type to get on the phone or hit him like, yo, you know I don't care about it. I'm healing it up. Or something so that he just knows. And if it still set him off, yo, I'm calling him every day or doing whatever I got to do to let him know, yo, I got love for you. This is just an angle. And maybe JBL doesn't think he needs to do that, or he's being instructed not to reach out. Like he said something on Twitter,
or he just simply doesn't care.
Right? Or that's or all of the above. You know what I'm saying? Like either way, it just looks bad. Like if I was JBL, I wouldn't block anybody. I wouldn't do anything. I would just wish him all the best and keep it like that. Because doing all blocking people, outwardly going out of your way, and he's not just blocking regular users. He blocked the Young Bucks. He's blocking wrestlers. He's blocking everybody who has something to say. So if you're showing support for Mauro and you're not saying anything about JBL and he blocks you, what does that mean?
Right. Guilty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they have to do something, and they have to address it. I'm not gonna say that they shouldn't rib each other, because that's the culture of wrestling. You know, you joke just same way you joke with your boys. If you're in any type of professional organization, whether it's like sports or fraternity, like that type of stuff happens. But when it gets malicious, then you got to get your ass beat, and you got to be dealt with professionally. That's what's gonna happen, because at some point, because I tell people all the time, I'm in a frat and you know, I went through some shit, but at the same time, you're a man first, you're a woman first. So if somebody crosses that line that you have, you're gonna handle it, and WWE's been known to handle that type of stuff, like y'all handle it man to man, and then if y'all can handle it like that, we don't gotta step in. Otherwise, we do. It's clearly that Mauro isn't going to fight JBL, and he has a disorder. It's just bad. They got to do something. Any inaction is bad action. And the way communication and the internet rolls now, and with crowds, especially those SmackDown crowds, it's going to get nuts.
Went into
it's
going to get worse.
Rightfully so.
They go to Chicago. They come to New York. They go to any of the quote unquote smart towns. God forbid they go back to Orlando. All them full sailors will be in JBL's ass. So I hope Mauro gets well soon. Mental health is nothing to play with, and we actually should be more open to it and treating it, getting help. It shouldn't be stigmatized, but WWE got to do something, and they got to do something quick, or this is going to be bad. I agree with y'all on that. So, hopping into the comics world, did y'all get a chance to see the Thor Ragnarok trailer?
Oh,
you mean Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Oh, here we go. Go ahead, Mac. Go ahead, Mac. Go ahead, Mac. Turn up. Turn up. Yeah, no. I already knew C-Mac was gonna do it. But well, first off, the fact that this is mad random to me. So the top 3 most viewed trailers all time in 24 hours. Number 1 is the remake of It, which is just masochism, because I don't know who's going to see that shit. I am under my table right now even talking about that shit. If y'all ever saw the original one?
Oh yeah. It was crazy as fuck.
Bruh. Who wants to go see that shit again? I don't think I'd be able to sleep for a month. But it was like everybody went to go see it. I feel like Chris Jericho right now. It is number 1. Fate of the Furious was number 2, and Thor was number 3. That's just wild random. It being number 1, most viewed. It was like 136 million times.
Wow.
I should say 136 million views. My initial impression, as far as the Marvel Studios movies, I think Thor is like my least interested and favorite series. Not so much that I think that they're all trash, but it's just in the grand scheme, it's not like I'm like, yo, my nigga, I gotta go see Thor. You know what I mean? But in terms of what they're showing, it's funny, Chris, that I knew you were gonna say like it's like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.5, the championship hyper fighting.
oh yeah, man! It's World War Planet Hulk,
right? Which is what they have to embrace with this series, because the Asgardians,
which is cool.
Yeah, the Asgardians are actually aliens, which is crazy to think. They're actually aliens. So them going full force space with it, I'm not mad. They got to do so. I don't want to see them on Earth anymore. I don't want to see Thor drinking nobody's coffee or none of that shit no more. What did you think, Bree?
Well, to be completely transparent, and similar to you, Jeff, Thor is my least favorite franchise in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
I've always thought that Thor is basically the rom-com of Marvel movies. And I was pleasantly surprised with the Ragnarok trailer. I think, honestly, Gila did it for me. Seeing how badass Cate Blanchett looks. I was just like, first of all, that's Cate Blanchett in a Marvel movie? And then, of course, the scene with Thor and Hulk, and it's just like, I know him. He's a friend from work. Like, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm definitely going to see it.
Marcus, what did you think?
Yeah, well, Planet Hulk is one of like my favorite comic book stories in general. So just like seeing it like reimagined with Thor on the big screen is really dope. Tessa Thompson was looking good as Valkyrie.
Facts.
But yeah, I'm really excited about this. Like the rest of y'all, Thor has never been like my favorite Marvel movie. Like I've never been in a rush to see Thor. But yeah, I think this probably will be I think this probably be the best Marvel movie that comes out this year.
Over Guardians 2?
Wow.
Over Guardians 2.
I'm kind of excited for Guardians 2.
Guardians 2 is the one and Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
He's my favorite superhero.
Yeah, he's my favorite superhero.
I'm not too excited for Homecoming.
I am. I like Holland. What was you gonna say? My bad.
I've seen so many adaptations of the films franchise so far that now it's like, can't you just get it done with? Like, I just want Iron Spider. Just give me the damn iron suit and just get it over with.
Yo, dog, you want to hear something crazy? The little shit that they showed from the suit, not in the. That's the most technologically advanced his shit has been, even more than Iron Spider, which is wild. Like when his symbol came off, and that might be like a spider, the tracer. like the new Tracer. Like, dog, I passed out.
I think that was a play on Spider-Man Unlimited. You remember the animated series of Spider-Man Unlimited? Because he used to have a watch that would you press on it, you could just give his costume immediately. So I'm glad they did something like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for those who ain't following Amazing Spider-Man the books, he's basically Peter Tony came Stark, up. Like. But the way he got there is actually it typifies who Peter Parker is, where when Otto was controlling his body as Superior Spider-Man, he built this whole empire. Yeah. Then Peter comes back and starts fucking it it up. Like, he can't have nice things. So it's cool. With Thor, with Thor Ragnarok, I like the visuals, just like how they got everything right. Like, from look wise, it's beautiful. Like, it's wild, beautiful.
Amazing.
Even with Hulk, I felt like when looking at the CGI, you could tell it's not 100% good, but I feel like they got to like 90. Like, I was appalled when I saw Cyborg in Justice League. Like, I get upset because it's like, if you're gonna do, like, don't fuck up the black character. Like, don't fuck him up. Like, give me Victor Stone. I'm like, yo, Vic, my man Vic is out here wearing cosplay and whatnot. But otherwise, look wise, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be cool. And at the end of the day, it's to me, is if you like the movies, if you like those movies, if they're going to space with it and they're going full cosmic with it, then they really shouldn't miss. They shouldn't miss. So, Disney might do $3 billion this year.
Easily. And I'm kind of hoping.
What were you gonna say?
Hey! Marvel's not going to miss when they got Rotten Tomatoes launching 90% ratings for them. They're going to be all right, man. You know they're going to bring in the bucks, so it's all good.
But I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the whole the parent company, them plus like everything under Disney that's coming out. What was you gonna say, Bree? I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. I was just saying, I hope this eventually leads to more things. Like, of course, with the Valkyrie mention, I'm hoping for Fearless Defenders in the next few with Misty Knight, since that's my fave. So I'm just hoping this just kind of branches out and leads to way more.
Right.
I got another thing to say. Now what we just saw with the Thor Ragnarok trailer and with Guardians and with Homecoming, they're adding a whole lot of humor into the Phase 3 of Marvel Comics universe, which I'm just going to say I'm kind of dreading, in a way, how the Black Panther trailer is going to be, especially in Wakanda. Like, I don't know how many references that they could really make about us in Wakanda when they're like thousands of miles away from the States. Like,
right.
Like, I don't want no damn Frankie Beverly and Maze reference made in the damn movie, because that would just really just blow my mind and I would just throw up. But,
unless there's an African American there, not no Africans. You get what I'm saying? Like, it has to be like, if I'm over there, I'm gonna be making American references. And they're gonna look at me like, you're fucking foreign. You're gonna be fucking foreign. But I'm hoping it's more. I get what you're saying, but I don't think we're gonna ever get to the days of raindrops keep falling on my head and walking in. And I still see that, and I just shook my head. I'm like, what the fuck did y'all do to my guy Peter Parker? He's never been this happy-go-lucky in his life. But man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the whole slate come out. It just boggled my mind that Beauty and the Beast did numbers too. Like, Disney's really out here. They're really. I want to see it too, low key. I heard it was alright. Did any of y'all see it?
The cinematography in it is beautiful. It's really, really good. I'm just still biased being a child of the 90s, even though I was born in the 80s. Just biased towards the animated Beauty and the Beast, but it's a really good movie.
All right. Well, that's Bree's seal of approval if I come back and it was trash. But how can it be trash if you like the original, right? It's a live adaptation. So if it's you can't say it. If you like the original, you don't like the live adaptation, you lied to yourself the first time you saw it. So
exactly.
All right. This story was real interesting, and I actually don't. I wonder why this doesn't happen sooner. But X-Men relaunched their series in the comics, and Gold #1, which is actually it was a cool read. the artist on that, Ardian Syaf, he put some subliminal messages in X-Men Gold #1. Subliminal messages that had political and ethnic controversy, so to speak. So just to give you the two things that he did, which is crazy. So there's a image of Colossus in X-Men Gold #1. He's playing baseball and he has a shirt on that says QS551. So I'm not gonna lie, when I read the book and when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm just thinking it's gear, but that actually referred to a verse in the Quran. So it would be if you saw like a Bible verse or whatever have you. It was a verse in the Quran that more or less alluded to the fact to not ally with Jews or Christians. And that was the original, whatever the translation that he was interpreting out of, that was like the English translation and how it is in Indonesia. And G. Willow Wilson, who writes for Ms. Marvel, she's also Muslim, and she wrote a post about how that interpretation is garbage, where the don't take them as allies. It's actually supposed to be interpreted as leaders or consultants. So in other words, if I'm beefing with Chris and Chris is a lawyer and I get into some trouble, I don't think that I should hire him as my lawyer, because more often than not, he's going to tank and I'm going to end up in jail. But it's just, but more so, it was a protest against Basuki Purnama, he's a Christian governor in Jakarta in Indonesia. So there's been protests against him where they feel like he's defaming and denigrating Islam and the Quran in Indonesia. And these are certain protests that he put in. The other one, this one was real slick. There's a panel with Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat for the older fans who know. There's a 212, and then it's a jewelry store, so it says Jewelry 212, and she's in the middle. Of course, the story takes place in New York. So when I see 212, 212 is the area code for New York. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It's a jewelry store, it's 212 jewelry. There's probably about 15 million of those in Manhattan. But that 212 actually referred to a date where 200,000 Indonesian people marched against him. And of course, she blocked off the part that said the rest of jewelry. So it said Jew 212. And if you don't know, Kitty Pryde's character is Jewish, which I thought was like that was the slickest shit that he did. Like the Bible verse. Like when I saw it at first, I was like, all right, 212, whatever, New York, all right, that's cute. But when I saw the jewelry, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, that's funny because she's Jew, but I didn't think it was malicious. But since he came out and made a statement saying that, I want everybody to respect beliefs, Marvel made a quick statement about, we don't condone blah, 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 and they fired him the same day. So I just thought, this story is crazy to me because if I'm the writer, if I wrote the book, I'm pissed because he just brought negative attention to the book. At the same time, it's funny to me that X-Men has always been an allegory for civil rights and the plight of minorities. And he would put that type of message in an X-Men book, but it would still be out of place because he didn't get clearance of it. Have y'all ever heard, Bree, have you ever heard of any of these stories where people have slipped in subliminal messages that were unwarranted in comics or anywhere in general?
I have not in comics, but I found the story really, really fascinating because it goes through so many people that they didn't catch it. So it's interesting that it's already out, it's already released, and even the digital versions haven't revised them. So I think it's a fascinating story, and I'm gonna do some more research and see if there's a history of any other occurrences like this.
There was one, I think, in Spider-Man Unlimited or something like that. Like one of those those offshoot Spider-Man books where the outgoing artist put some subliminal message about one of the editors. He like, Chris, your man is going off. But so he put a subliminal message in the joint about one of the editors that he was working with. So like on his way out, he had a parting shot for him. So I guess if you don't want to work anymore, and you don't want to work anymore, and you don't care, you do that. Because this dude's career is over. This dude's career is basically over right now. So
yeah,
you know what I mean.
And that and it sucks because I'm flipping through it right now, and the artwork is so good on
Bruh.
it.
Yeah,
this shit is beautiful.
I was like, yo, this artist can really draw. And then, because when I first saw the Colossus thing, I was like, oh, I wonder what that means. I just thought it was probably something story related that we'll find out about later. And I didn't really get the Jew reference until it was brought up to me later. But yeah, his career is over. But man, it's just like X-Men Gold was so good. It just like taking the X-Men back to their roots. Like when Kitty Pryde was talking to that little girl, and she was like, "Are you all right?" And then the mom jumped in and was like, "Don't talk to it,
bruh."
And I was like, "Oh, this is the X-Men that like we haven't seen in a long time."
Right.
And so it's like getting back to their roots. But yeah, it's unfortunate because he's like a great artist. He only has 2 more books left. But
well, the writing, the artists are real important. But as long as the writing holds up, hopefully they'll find somebody good to substitute. And rounding this off, a couple of quick joints. Josh Brolin got cast as Cable. This dude has to be the best check getter right now in the game because he's Thanos in Infinity War, and then he signed on for Forrest Cable. I think they already finished shooting Infinity War, so that's pretty smart on his end. Or he probably doesn't have as many parts to go in. Yeah. So by the time they shoot all these other things, they'll be straight. And Josh has been in mad stuff too. Which is awesome. He's been in he's a Trupo from American Gangster. He was W. So this is good. What did Marcus? What did you think about this casting when you heard it? Because it was supposed to be Brad Pitt or somebody else, right?
Basically, man, Josh Brolin was like, "I don't give a fuck about continuity. I just want the check." That's basically how he felt. So
well, you think about it. He's just a voice, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, like he might have to wear like certain stuff or whatever, but if you're doing voice for one, you can be in another one if you especially if it's 2 totally different characters.
Right.
Yeah. I think he'll be a good Cable too. So
word. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's gonna be cool. They gotta write a joke. Deadpool has to joke on that shit. At some point,
of course.
Like if they don't, it's a missed opportunity. He has to go in too. Like he has to go all the way in with it. I can see that coming. When they do that, it's gonna be cool. And I hope that they keep Deadpool the way it's been and they don't fox it. So, yeah, I'm really hoping they don't fox it, but it's gonna be cool. And finally for the comic talk, Marvel says that they're after Secret Empire, which is probably gonna get a lot of people upset seeing their Captain America, quote unquote, as Hydra. But after that event, they're not going to do any major events for 18 months, which I think is pretty smart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they want to because I guess whatever happens in Secret Empire, they won't need to have another major event and they'll just need to chill for a while. So they're committing to at least 18 months of no major events. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have book-contained events, which has been happening for years and years and years, where if you're not reading the book, you won't know what happened unless another character visits. But I think it's pretty good because now they can, once they get this major event out the way, because before it used to be one every couple of years. Then they started doing one every year. And I'm like, how much drama does this universe have that they have to keep coming together? Like, always something happening. It's like, even back in the day, it would be when there was an event, that means some shit went down. And everybody's on red alert, and you got to go and get that.
Yeah.
But, that's something interesting.
Well, I'm excited for a Secret Empire just because it's Nick Spencer, and he's like been writing his ass off with both Captain America books. So I'm really looking forward to see what he's able to do now that he has like the whole Marvel comic book like universe at his fingertips. So looking excited for that. But yeah, with the whole event thing, I don't think it's the amount of events that happens. I think it's more of the length and like the delays and things of that nature. Cause like with Secret War, it was like it started in like May, it didn't end till like January. And then same thing with the Civil War 2, like it got delayed and was late. So I feel like if they just stick to their timetable, they would be all right. But I don't have like event fatigue or anything like that. I actually like the events.
My thing is more so the delays, and I know things happen. Artists get tied up on multiple books, but it's crazy when they'll have an event, they'll delay the last book, or they'll add another book. Then they'll start the new wave of comics post whatever happens. So you're reading the new comics knowing what happened, like what ultimately happens in the final book. So that was always silly to me. So if they were to hammer that out, I think it would be way better. But we'll see how that goes. All right, y'all. Let's talk about this Superstar Shakeup. Bree, what was your initial thoughts?
A shakeup it was. I genuinely marked out for most of the surprises that happened on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I think it was one of my favorite points, even though it was shady as hell, was when Shane McMahon was introducing Tamina, and we thought it would be Charlotte, but of course Charlotte came right after. But yeah, I enjoyed the shake up in general. I think they should do it honestly more than once a year, and it should replace the draft.
I like the fact that they do it right after Mania. Even if they did it once a year, do it right after Mania, because it's the start of a new season. Once WrestleMania ends, the season is over. So you start the new season, you shake it up. Marcus, you had a tweet yesterday. I saw it, and I felt the same way. Because I'm not going to lie. I always say that SmackDown gets fleeced. I say SmackDown gets fleeced in this shit all the time. But it's made for them to get fleeced. Because Raw has more hours. Raw needs more talent. So they are in a way they're gonna need certain people. But one thing that was what was interesting about this is the distribution of talent was actually more equal. SmackDown, I think, got one or two more people because they ended up getting New Day. But when you said that SmackDown came back from a 3-1 lead, from a 3-1 deficit, when they said, that shit was real. Because I was, after Raw, I kind of was like, yo, what the hell are they going to do? But the SmackDown draft, they retooled, man. They retooled in the right places. What did you think?
It was like that Boston Celtics Brooklyn Nets trade where the Celtics got all these picks. And all they had to do is just give up Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, for the Nets, and the Nets just tanked throughout after. That was exactly how the Raw and SmackDown Live Superstar Shakeup was in a way, because they gave up almost half of their roster in a way. Their main guys in the mid card and the main event scene brought them over to Raw, and their women too, Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. The Mickie James one really caught me by surprise. And the Bray Wyatt one was also very surprising too. At that point, I was like, "Oh no, what is SmackDown going to do here?" Because they've done it again. Like they take, like I said, they also, like I said, another tweet that day was like they take lemons and they turn it into Popeye's chicken because they end up getting a whole lot more and then some with the Superstar Shakeup to bring it in New Day and the Shining Stars to bolster up their tag team division. And New Day, it gives it a notoriety too. Like they're stars. They're the biggest act one of the biggest acts, if not the biggest act that WWE has had in a very long time. And it brings some type of power into it, give some attention to the division. You get them working with guys like American Alpha and the Usos and the Shining Stars. They have a new identity too. And Breezango's there. They're a very entertaining team. The Ascension, while they're not as good, they're good to have around. It's just a big bruiser team, and it feels very fresh now. With them, the women's division bringing in Tamina, which was expected. and Charlotte, which was very needed. Like the quality right there is already improved tremendously because now you have Charlotte working with the likes of Natalya again, Becky Lynch. Naomi has a chance, to really, prove herself. Having these matchups with Charlotte and Becky and Tamina. Tamina's there. While she may not be like the best replacement for Mickie James, that's just another dynamic to have around, especially with Naomi, considering their relationship. You don't know where she stands at this moment. So there's a lot of interesting twists and turns within the women's division there. And the main roster with bringing in Sami Zayn and at this moment Kevin Owens, because there's an interesting loophole with that Kevin Owens move.
Right. The winner of Payback's U.S. title between Jericho and Owens.
Jericho.
Yep.
They're the ones coming now. So it leaves me questioning is like the loser, do they go back to Raw or do they come to SmackDown with them, or was it just the United States title was the one that was part of the shakeup and Owens just happened to be the champ?
Right.
And Byron Saxton, was Saxton part of the commentary team last night at all?
Yeah. He came on Tuesday. He came on Tuesday. Oh, wow. He flipped with Otunga, which is something that I actually like. I like when the announcers flip. There was a part of me that was like, yo, I hope, because Byron is the most level-headed dude when he's getting trolled that I've ever seen in the history of wrestling. Because Corey Graves fries him, but it's not like crude frying. Like Corey Graves is your boy who, when you come to school and you wearing something crazy, he brings you to the middle and you just gotta take it. Like that's Corey Graves. It's so smart, it's so good that you have to laugh. Because if you get mad, you lost. You gotta laugh with him or try to snap back. But just that whole JBL shit, I was kind of like, damn. Because I like Byron Saxton. He for what he does, he's serviceable. He's good. I just don't want. I'm. There was a part of me that when Titus O'Neil, like he got an instant follow from me when he gave JBL the business that day on the commentary table. I just hope that the same happens. Marcus, what do you think? Was there any move that you wanted to see that didn't happen?
Definitely. I felt Apollo Crews needed to go back to NXT.
Oh shit!
He has absolutely no place on the main roster, like at all.
Well, maybe going to Raw will change that. I feel you though. Maybe.
I don't know.
Let's not get our hopes up.
What this change here with the Superstar Shakeup? This is the real test here to see how the guys of SmackDown will translate with the creative of Raw as opposed to the Raw workers working with SmackDown, because it's literally night and day when you watch both shows. And already, I mean, it's just week one, of course, but you already get a feeling that Miz is going to be the guy. While he's going to have a lot of TV time, he's going to be jobbing out to the likes of Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and Roman Reigns.
You already see it
for a full year. Yeah,
you
see it happening.
It's going to be Dean Ambrose jobbing out too.
Oh yeah, he's going to get destroyed by Braun Strowman. That's also another one. Like those guys are going to get ragdolled. Like Dean. But it's already like they're putting the pieces to place for another Shield reunion here. And I already get the feeling that
they are on the same. They are on the same.
After that excellent Braun Strowman segment, that beatdown that lasted for 30 minutes on Roman Reigns.
Let me tell you, those "You Deserve It" chants took me out. I couldn't even tweet. I was crying.
Yo, can I tell you? I've seen some shit in WWE when he went into the ambulance, and I was like, yo, if Braun comes back, I felt like everybody was like, yo, if Braun comes back out, he's the GOAT. Then when he said, I'm not done with you yet, yo, that's classic WWE. That's class. That's peak old school villain. I'm not done with you yet.
Face with that beat down, man. The crowd will not boo him because of what he did. He flipped a fucking ambulance with his bare head.
Yo, let me tell you what's funny though. What happened to the people who was in the ambulance with Roman? Yo, they just came back out and dusted themselves up.
Left.
Yo, they dipped. They dipped and left Roman in there. Yo, when he tossed him, yo, they're and I say this every day, every week. WWE's video team, editing, yo, they're the best. Live and pre-production and predictive, yo, they are the best. The fact that they made it look like he was still in the stretcher when he threw it off. Yo, if I was in that arena, I probably would have passed out. Like, the joint was so hilarious, and I've seen some crazy shit. I didn't think anything could top the Festival of Friendship, and they might have got it. They might have got it, bro. They might have got it. That if they do like the holy shit moment of 2017, that's already. That might be holy shit Hall of Fame. That what we just
easily.
Saw. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
I think Braun's a made man now after that segment. Like, I don't think there could be anything that could really hurt him going forward after this. Like, this is just out of this world amazing. Oh, other than Roman probably returning on Raw next Monday, but they need to have him out for at least a full month. You know, they should just have him out for a full month and have Dean take his spot as the guy facing him at Payback. You know, if anything.
Yo, let me tell you, when we when me and my boys, when we were playing the WWE video games, it was funny. Like, back in the day, we booked our shit like it was our own federation and all of that. And when we would have matches, you know, with these games, there may be some times where you beat somebody down so quick and so much that they can't even get off. We would say, yo, you can't use that character for 3 weeks. You put them out. Like, we would write characters off. Like, Roman, he can't come back for about at least until after Payback or during Payback when he has a match. And he has to come out with the taped ribs. He has to have tape over his body armor. He has to have the body armor. He has to have the taped ribs.
Tape on his shoulder, like a Condicio tape, like a Cesaro's been wearing, you know.
Yo,
he needs to come with a new bodysuit. Looking like RoboCop.
He has to come out looking like he has to have patches. He has to look like one of those anime characters. He has to have the speed knot on his head. He has to come out looking like he was wrecked. But that was one. Yo, that segment was one of the best segments we've seen in a while. One thing with this shakeup that I wish maybe they'll do it in next year. You know, they work with ESPN. They work with other outlets. Yo, I was surprised Rosenberg wasn't dropping Woj bombs or there wasn't trades. We didn't get leaks, franchise tags. Like, I want them to really make it like some real trade deadline joint.
Yeah,
something going forward.
I thought they were going with that earlier when they were announcing moves early before the shakeup episode started with Apollo Crews going to Raw. No, I thought they were going to start, doing something like that, and give us some like a type of ticker, for a deadline or whatnot. But yeah, they need to utilize their resources more when they still have them, because at this moment it's looking like they're about to lose out on a couple of them with this situation right now.
Word up, man. We'll see. We'll definitely see. One thing with just looking at the roster, when after Raw. When I saw that they got Miz and Bray, my first reaction was, well, who's going to be the top heel on SmackDown? Because they lost their top. They really lost because Miz was it. No matter how much he got cheered, it was Miz and then it was Bray. I still think it was bullshit that he didn't win the title at WrestleMania or keep the title at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
I think that wrecked that just didn't make any sense. Like you're making him into the worst cult leader of all time. Like he doesn't even have no one will drink his Kool-Aid even if he tells them that it would cure any ailment that they have. Like he's the worst cult leader of all time, and they don't help him when they book him like that. But having Owens on SmackDown, and you see he's going full heel now. Like he's on that Bret Hart Team Canada shit, which I like. Like the like I'm the face of America and I'm Canadian. I love that, but then it's like, okay, he has the U.S. title. I think either way, he has to stay on SmackDown. Like there's no way at this point, if you bring him back on Raw, you're really trying to set up SmackDown for some shit. But either Y2J is going to go away and then come back for SmackDown, or I think Owens one way or another is going to be on SmackDown with the belt. But if he's there, then the number one heel isn't facing the world champion. Like that whole, I want to know if they're doing the same stipulation for the WWE title, where if Bray wins it, he goes to Raw with the belt, and if Randy wins it, you know what I mean?
That's happening.
That is.
I
right?
really have
you
a
think
feeling
so?
that with AJ Styles now, since he's now a face, and clearly he's like the top face of that brand.
Oh yeah.
And he's the number one contender for the United States title. They're going to go with like Styles and Owens off the gate right now, and have Bray win the WWE title from Orton and bring it over to Raw, because you still have Money in the Bank coming up. That's a SmackDown exclusive. They can always bring that title back, for the summer. But yeah, I think they're going to have a focus strongly on Owens and Styles and Shinsuke. Shinsuke Nakamura working with Dolph Ziggler for the time being. But I don't see Orton really in any future plans right now. Because there's so much going on with with the SmackDown movie. You got all these stars coming in. You got Baron Corbin's on the rise. Sammy's going to be working with Baron. Styles going to be working with Owens. Shinsuke's working with Dolph. And you got the tag team division is going to get more focused. The women's going to get more focused.
So you won't really notice it. You won't really notice it, which is ill.
In the back burner.
Yo.
And then you got the NXT call-ups coming up. CN almost is on his way.
Perfect 10 is there. Nakamura's there. Yeah, Cien almost needs to get off of NXT. He needs to go to the Brain Bear, because at this point he's a luxury for NXT. Because he's being, he faces everybody in their debut, and he's actually nice. So I'd love to see him good on SmackDown. And don't forget,
oh yeah, he definitely deserves more. Like, especially coming from his pedigree of being in New Japan and was that AAA in Mexico?
Right.
No,
so,
CMLL.
So he deserves so much better. So yeah, he definitely needs to be on the main roster like yesterday.
And don't forget, Shelton Benjamin is coming back soon too. So
yeah,
at some point I expect him to be the uncle to American Alpha. Watch out though about wearing tights with red, white, and blue on them and doing crazy shit. One more ladder match run or something like that. So they're low key tooled up. They might be more than 2 hours worth of tooled up, which is wild. Bree, what's the one match or one feud that you would want to see out of this whole post shakeup? Now with everybody where they are.
Well, actually, with AJ not leaving SmackDown, I am so ready for the renewed feud of AJ versus Nakamura. Like, I cannot wait to see them do that. Hopefully, WrestleMania next year. But I want to see them slow build that feud and incorporate that history from New Japan and just see them integrate that into a very, very long storyline, just leading to an amazing match. So that's the one match I definitely want to see.
What about you, Marcus? Any brand?
Yeah, any brand. Actually, I want to see Alexa Bliss versus Sasha, because those two got real heat. So I feel like, I definitely would want to see that, especially now that Alexa has somewhat improved as a wrestler. So it won't be like Sasha completely carrying her. But yeah, I definitely would look forward to something like that.
What about you, Chris?
When Rusev gets back, I want to see Rusev, take on Shinsuke. Because
handsome Rusev
on the highest of keys, the Rusev move is probably one of the biggest act moves for SmackDown Live.
Facts.
I agree.
You have a guy here that he's going to be, Luke Harper and Rusev. Oh my God. He's going to be there. That's going to be a good, bridge between the upper mid card and the main event scene. You could interject him in between anywhere and everywhere. And he's going to have a great match with anybody. He's going to get to work with Styles. He's going to be rehabilitated too. So he's going to be able to be back at the top of the card working with AJ, having matches with Sammy again, working with Shinsuke, working with Luke Harper, destroying James Ellsworth at any given time. I mean, it's great. So I'm here, and then there's Lana. She looks like she's going to be competing now. Got a whole new gimmick and everything. New theme song. Have you seen the vignette?
Yeah, I saw
it.
Yeah. So I don't. But the way that they treated Rusev's move and Lana's move, it's interesting. I'm just wanting to see. Are they going to keep them together? Are they going to be separated, or how's that going to work out?
Yeah, it was wild, interesting that they got separate building. What was you gonna say, Bree? Bree, you there?
Bree?
Oh. She just left us. Oh, there she is. I was about to say you left us on a cliffhanger. Like, yo, that was a Dragon Ball Z shit.
I think Lana's new gimmick kind of reminds me of the original Fandango vignette. So maybe she's going to be the female Fandango.
I thought she was going to be doing.
I'm excited. I want to see her compete.
I thought she was going to be doing magic tricks and shit. She looked like Zatanna almost. I was expecting her to be like abracadabra, pulling out magic and doing shit like that. I was like, oh shit, this is about to be lit. I thought I was in Vegas. I was like, oh shit, she about to cut herself in half and whatnot. Like, what's going on? But for me, I think I want to see Miz and Seth. I want to see Miz and Seth because Miz is gonna get under his skin and just be Miz. Miz in this last year and a half. I've been in Miz's corner for a while, but I just love his character. I love the fact that he really worked to get to where he is, worked on his shit, and like he's a top heel. He's a top heel. So that's what him and Seth I think would be interesting, and if they cross paths, just because that's something that new and with where they are now, I think that would be pretty cool. Revival and Hardys. That's like a classic old school tag team match, an eccentric team versus meat and potatoes, no flips, just fists. Like I feel like the Hardys can do a lot for the Revival. These current Hardys, I think they could do a lot for the Revival and really get them over and catapult them. And I don't know why, but I think I might be a mark for Jinder right now. Although
I'm on the Jinder train too.
Although he took, I know Bree hates him because he took Finn out.
But
he got to chill on his elbows, but. Yo,
that Finn thing is that's another issue we have to discuss there with because there was a lot of unsafe work happening on that Raw episode.
Bruh,
man, a lot of it.
I know Charlotte's happy to be back on SmackDown, but now she has to go up and work with Tamina, so it's like it's like she can't really escape it. But it just is what it is. With Finn and Nakamura. In their case, and most of the guys that traveled around the world and work different styles in Japan in particular, but those two, like those guys they're getting old, and they took a lot of punishment in their careers, and for Finn, who's just coming off a shoulder injury, mind you, to take a hit like that, a strike like that, and already have a concussion, 2 weeks in, that's not good. It just really isn't good. It's considered that they want to make him the guy on that brand, and he's injury prone. Yeah. And I feel like they have to do the same thing with Finn as what they're doing with Nakamura. Like, don't have him wrestle a lot. Really, don't have him wrestle on TV a lot. Like, just to have him around, do promos, look good on TV, have his interests, and and build up for their match on pay-per-view.
Well, it looks like they're building towards Finn and Bray. So he can just chill until they figure that out and Bray figures out what he's doing with the world title and they come and he's back on Raw. It's also going to be funny, just thinking about it now, if Bray crosses paths with the Hardys by the time they figure out this broken joint. If Matt is kind of fractured, he's partially cracked, but if he goes full broken, and it's like broken Hardy, Demon Finn, and Eater of Worlds, like we might get the Hardy compound. We might get delete or eat or whatever, or delete the king or something like that. We might get something like that, and I'm ready with WWE production. I'm so fucking ready. I'm so ready.
Don't forget that Braun is still waiting in the wings. You don't know, what if he's like
a Wyatt.
He'll have some sort of affiliation with Bray, and so that's still got to be determined.
Charlotte and Naomi, I'm waiting for because they give me heavy RVD Jerry Lynn vibe, just like the way they're athletically. Like it could be like our RVD, the female RVD Jerry Lynn. I'm ready. I'm 100% ready for that. Let's see what else. Yeah, overall. What's up?
Shining Stars and American Alpha. For me, Shining Stars and American Alpha.
I like their new look because they look. Shining Stars came out like some New York Dominicans that are fed up. Like that you mess with their sister and they come in to fuck you up. I loved it. Like they came out jeans, no shirt. Like we ain't selling no more timeshares. We come in to crack heads. And they're actually very talented to me. They've been solid. Like both of them have been solid as a team. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Marcus. Like I'm Marcus, Chris Mack. I'm with you with that 100%. Like the way they came out, I was like, are you kidding me? They gave them the Shining Stars. Then when I saw them, I said, they turned. I'm in. I bought in.
They're beating ass, man. I was like, wow, just watching it. All they're missing is just their, you're missing Carlito. That would just make everything just completely perfect here for me.
Right.
That's all right.
Here's a quick sidebar. I don't know about y'all, but I love the Usos. Like I need one of them hoodies first off ASAP.
Usos and Shining Stars. If the Shining Stars are continuing with this Puerto Rican street gimmick right now, they come past with the Usos. It's going to be some hilarity, man.
Oh man, what I loved, my favorite part of the Usos was how they went on talking smack and was like, it was like Shane, like, why you had us off the card? And I like the fact they were heels where when Shane was like, you wanna, they were like, we wanted to defend the title. Like, not on some backing down. Like, even when he was like, we'll defend it. You could defend it against American Alpha. He's like, and I think it's Jay that calls them American Alphas, plural. Like black people always put the S on the end of every single thing that they say.
American Alphas.
He called them Alphas. He's like, we got to fight the Alphas again? We got to fight the Alphas? All right, we'll do that. And it is funny because it's like, they're heels, but they're not over the top heels. They just fuck with each other, and they just about the titles, and they're cool with whoever. But if you're their opponent, you their enemy. Like I like that because that's like normal. Yeah. That's like normal. That's like competition in sports.
Yeah, so I like it. That's it, man.
I love it. So what's up? Any last words from y'all? How y'all feeling about the shakeup overall?
Nah, I like it. It needed. I like the shakeup more than the draft. The one thing I wish they did was, I wish just like last year during the cruiserweight tournament, they did like a breakdown of who was like traded for who and like what deals happened, something like that. But that'd be my only recommendation. But overall, I liked it.
Cool. What about you?
Yeah. They never really. I liked it as well. It's just like like what Marcus is following back with him. They never really specified rules of the shakeup. So I don't know, because it just it just appeared, it just showed up. We were like, wow, they're here, but what did they? They were negotiating the trade, or what happened there? It was just it feels like you could jump ship at any time.
Right. It did kind of feel like the Wild Wild West, but in a funny sense, I didn't really feel like I needed that much in terms of the breakdown. Just like if there was a trade or if there was like a free agent signing, I think that would have been cool. But the way they, when people just appeared, it's like, oh, I guess you on SmackDown now. Oh, I guess you on Raw. But it'll be cool if they can explain that in the future. What about you, Bree?
Yeah, that was one of my main points. It was just like, oh, they're here, okay. No announcement, no anything. So I think maybe when they do it next, they should kind of, treat it a little bit more formally, I guess. But overall, I enjoyed it.
All right, cool. Before we get out of here, C-Mac, our New Japan Pro Wrestling correspondent. So we talk about everything here. So Sakura Genesis happened, right? I know the big main event, was it Okada and Shibata?
Yes.
So what was the big? What was the
main
big
event?
It
was.
Oh yes, it was.
It was fantastic. It was they were going. It was nearly 40 minutes long, but it was just a physical, brutal match to the point that after hearing the aftermath of it, I kind of cringe trying to go back to watch it now. But at the moment of watching it, it was just like unbelievable. Like it was emotionally gripping in a way that how much the crowd really wanted Shibata to win, and how much I want, because I'm a big Katsuyori Shibata fan, and it was just his first title shot in years in New Japan, especially for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Like, let's be that specific. It was his first big IWGP Heavyweight title shot, and it felt like there was a chance he could have won when he no-sold the first Rainmaker, and it didn't. The headbutt spot that pretty much is probably going to define the rest of his career going forward. Because he ended up busting himself open, and it was a sick headbutt. Like, headbutt spots in general for me, I'm not a big fan of. Like, it makes me cringe.
I hate them.
Like,
I
it's
hate
just
them.
like it is. But when he did it, I was like, oh my god, like this is unbelievably brutal. But I just can't stop watching. You just really want him to win here.
It's like a train wreck.
But it was really, out of all the Okada defenses I've seen so far this year, including Omega's, this is the best one for me. And unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen with Shibata. He had to undergo surgery for hematoma. And Dave Meltzer, the OG, he's trying to play it off as something that that was like a work. But from the sound of it, it sounds pretty brutal. That like brain injury like that is not something that you could just shake off. And it might, I don't know, it might spell the end of his career. Who knows? But the thing is, he needs to just lay off those damn headbutts, and because I just hate seeing them in general.
Right.
But it's an unbelievable match. Good show too. Good show. I also recommend Zack Sabre Jr. and Hiroki Goto. Okay. That was great. And also the War Machine Tensai Kojima tag was very good too. The junior title match, they had a Goldberg Brock Lesnar moment. That match ended in 2 minutes, but it was awesome.
And that's not really normal for New Japan. Like they love the longer matches. So I'm gonna check that out too. Like I want to see the whole pay-per-view. This wasn't like Wrestle Kingdom where I'll take a nap and then wake up at 3 a.m. to watch it. I saw it and I was like, I'm gonna have to catch that on the replay. Like Saturday was too much for me. But Bree, I know you watched as well. What would you say if somebody who's a wrestling fan but doesn't watch New Japan? What would be one reason why you should?
It's just different. It has a different vibe, a different feel. I watch New Japan. I watch Evolve, Progress, because they all have different feels. And as a wrestling fan, it's just to surround yourself or familiarize yourself rather with different companies. So especially with New Japan, just seeing how it's just honestly just pure wrestling, that really, really attracted me to the product. And I'm a Kenny Omega mark anyway, so I would actually recommend them watching Kenny Omega's match against Funky Weapon. I'm blanking out on his name.
Taguchi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Taguchi from Wrestle Kingdom 9 instead of the highly touted Okada Omega match from this past Wrestle Kingdom, because no one has the attention span for that, especially if they haven't watched it before. So
I also would recommend his match of Tetsuya Naito, which I feel like was better than the Okada match too, from the G1 semifinal.
Oh, so good.
Definitely worth watching. That was the Omega match for me. It really, I really want like Omega Naito rematch more so than Omega Okada one at this moment, because I don't really know what they're trying to I think they're doing a rehabilitation moment with Omega. I don't know, but he has a match with Ishii on the May show, Dantanku. So who knows? He might get a title shot. He should get a title shot with Okada at Dominion. If not, then he should face Naito. But he's owed a title shot against Okada, Naito, and Goto. He's beaten Naito and Goto in the G1 matches. And his performance with Okada says enough that he's owed a rematch too. So I don't know. There's different avenues that you could take with him.
Let me tell you, when I saw that Omega Naito match, I wanted to learn Japanese on the spot. Like, I just wanted to. I broke out Rosetta Stones. I'm like, yo, I need the Japanese announcers. I need to know everything that they're saying. Like that. Similar to you, Bree, that's one thing that drew me into New Japan was just the fact that it was just like that strong style is just. Oh, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just it's something beautiful about it where they kind of take out. There's still pageantry. There's still all of that. There's still storylines. But when you get in the ring, I love near finishes, and if you love that, you will enjoy New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like it's just like you said, it's something different. And the exuberance that they show, the wrestlers, it transcends language barriers. Because I'm not, I don't speak Japanese. I witness the culture from the outside, but they speak the language of wrestling, and we all understand that. So when you see it, you don't have to worry about anything like that. Marcus, you into New Japan?
I'm trying to get into. I haven't really started yet.
Once you go, you don't come back. I'm letting you know. Once you go, you don't come back.
I know. That's what I've been hearing.
And you in Mountain Time, so you can watch it at a reasonable hour when the big shows come out. Jealous of that, but All right, y'all. This was fun. This was real good. You had a good time?
Awesome, dog.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is great.
This is the first time. We won't make it the last time. Bree, where can they find you?
You all can find me on all social media with She's So Offbeat. That's SHESSOOFBEAT.
Why is that your Twitter handle? Why is that your social media handle? Can you not dance?
Well, I used to run a music site called She's So Offbeat, but actually now that is the name of my PR company, Offbeat Public Relations, so I've kept it.
That's dope. Way to flip it. C-Mac, where can they get you?
Well, you could normally catch me on Twitter, Rappers for Actors, legendary handle that I created in my days of college. But I'm pretty much all over social media, but I mainly reside on there. Maybe LinkedIn, but that's if y'all really trying to get some real business inquiries going on for a brother here. But other than that, I'm just right there on Twitter. My Medium page, you can find on there as well. Spotify. I create a lot of playlists as well. So, y'all want to catch some playlists, listen to some music and whatnot, hear me out. And that's what's up, man.
Let them know about that clippings.me, the samples of the work.
The clippings, my portfolio, man. I'm trying to get some work in, man. So, just let me know. I'll be doing the podcast here. I'll be writing here as well. So, just hit me up and, want to inquire, get some more wrestling, inquiries going on, want to talk about some lucha libre or more, British pro wrestling, since I'm getting into that as well. I'm right here, man.
That is. What about you, Marcus?
Oh yeah, follow me on all social, mflowco, mflowco.
Is it O or is it zero? Is it O or is it?
No, it's O. It's an O.
You try to be proper. Don't be proper with us. He was like 0.
Yeah. And also, I'm a writer over at Dunk 360, so I just random like UFC, boxing, stuff like that, wrestling. So yeah, that's where I'll be at.
All right, so that's it. You catch them. Great talent with these three, especially the writing that I've seen, cleverness on the tweets and all over social media. Like y'all, these are the reasons why this podcast pops off. So I appreciate all of you joining. And that does it for us. You want to catch us on all social media, you can follow us at Nonstop Culture, Instagram nonstop.culture, We're on SoundCloud and YouTube. Take a wild guess what it is. Yep, it's Nonstop Culture. If you want to email us, you got some stuff to say about what we said on the show, info@nonstopculture.com. And go to nonstopculture.com/subscribe for all your podcast needs. And until next time, we'll check you later. Peace.